What is a purchasing power? Purchasing power refers to the quantity of goods and services that can be purchased with a unit of currency at a given period of time. In some simple words, we can say that purchasing power is the power of a currency to buy goods and services. To buy goods and services. When the purchasing power will be high, when we can buy more goods and services at a given level of currency. And when we can buy only few goods and services, at that time we can say that the purchasing power of the currency falls down. Let's suppose you went to market and you buy an apple at rupees 10. After some days you went to the same shop and the shopkeeper gives you apple at rupees 5. Now you are able to buy 2 apples. Initially you can buy only 1 apple with rupees 10, but now when its price falls down, you can buy 2 apples at rupees 10. We can say that the purchasing power of the currency rises. But if the price rise up to rupees 15, what you will do? You are not able to even purchase 1 apple. It means that your purchasing power falls down, because initially it was rupees 10 and you have only rupees 10 for an apple. If it cost you rupees 15, then you are not able to buy even 1 apple itself. So its purchasing power will be declined. You are not able to purchase even only 1 apple itself. So if it cost you rupees 5, you can buy 2 apples. So we can say that when prices of the commodity rises, purchasing power decline. When price decline, purchasing power rises. So purchasing power is negatively related with price. What is real income? Income of an individual in terms of his purchasing power. Not because of increase in his income. For example, initially his income was 100, then it increased up to 200. It's not the case. It is known as nominal income. Nominal. It is nominal income. But when we are considering real income, it is in the terms of purchasing power of that particular individual, means how much he can purchase. So it can rise or decline in the terms of prices of goods and services. Initially, when his income was 100, he can purchase only 10 apples, because 1 apple cost him rupees 10. But when his income remains same, but when the price falls to 5, now at the same level of income he can purchase 20 apples. So we can say that his real income rises. Income remains same, but his real income rises, because real income is always in the terms of purchasing power. At initial level his purchasing power was only to buy 10 apples, but now his purchasing power is increases and now he is able to buy 20 apples with the given level of income. So we can understand from here that purchasing power is in the terms of price of goods and services, and real income is the result of increase or decrease in purchasing power. If purchasing power rises, it means that real income rises. If purchasing power falls, it means that real income falls. Now let's understand the income effect. Income effect refers to the change in the quantity demanded when the real income, as I already told you that real income is the income in the terms of purchasing power. Real income of a buyer changes owing to change in the price of commodity. That is income effect. What happens in our previous example? Now he can buy 20 apples. And this is due to income effect. Income effect means initially the price was 10, now price is 5. Due to fall in prices, his purchasing power rises and now he can buy 20 apple instead of 10. This phenomena is known as income effect. With fall in income, real income rises and vice versa. with fall in price. With fall in price, real income rises, and with rise in price, real income falls. Yesterday, I told you that on the base of income, there can be two types of goods, that is normal goods and inferior goods. Normal goods are those goods which we can consume when we have a higher level of income, and inferior goods are those goods which we are consuming when we are not able to purchase normal goods because it costs us more and we are very poor. So we shift our consumption to inferior goods like wheat and bajra. Wheat is our normal good and bajra is inferior good. When price of wheat rises and our purchasing power to buy wheat decline, at that time we shift our consumption to bajra because it's available at low cost, at low level of price. So we can say that when our income is high, we can consume normal goods, and when our income is low, we are not able to purchase normal goods, then we shift our consumption towards inferior goods. It means that income effect is positive in the case of normal goods. When our income is high, we consume more and more normal goods, but when our income declines, our normal goods consumption also declines. So these both are positively related. When one is rising, others also rising, and when one is falling, others too is falling. This is a positive relationship, and if we draw on graph, it will be cast upward sloping demand curve or upward sloping relationship between the normal goods and income effect. So in case of inferior goods, it is negative because when our income is high, we are consuming normal goods, and at that time inferior goods consumption is low. But when our income is low, we are not able to consume normal goods. At that time we are consuming inferior goods. So in the case of low income, we are consuming high inferior goods. It is negative relationship. One is falling, other is rising. It will give you a downward shifting curve. So we can say that it is negatively related. Now next, substitution effect. What is substitution effect? Substitution effect refers to when we are substituting one commodity for other. When it happens, when it become relatively cheaper. For example, initially we were consuming tea. As I already gave you this example, we were consuming tea. But when the price of tea rises, it doesn't mean that the price of coffee falls, but price of coffee is less than price of tea. So we can say that coffee is relatively cheaper than tea. As compared to tea, it is cheaper now. So we are demanding more and more coffee. Okay, this is relative. Relative means as compared to tea. Why we were consuming tea initially? Because coffee was more expensive, but when the price of tea also rises, now coffee become relatively cheaper. Relatively cheaper means as compared to tea it becomes cheaper, so now we are consuming coffee. So this is known as substitution effect. We are substituting tea with coffee. Substitution effect is positive in the case of relative goods and it is negative in the case of complements. Positive means when price of tea increases, it means that demand for coffee will increase. Same, which I already told you why it's happened due to substitution effect. But in the case of complements, complements are those goods which can be used together. We can't replace them with each other. For example, pen and ink. We are using both of them together. When the price of pen will rise, so what will happen? Demand of ink rise or fall? Demand of ink will fall because we are using them both together. We are using both together. When price of pen will rise, demand for ink will also fall. So it is negatively related. When price is rising, its demand will fall. So we can say that it is negative in the case of complements. Let's just take one more example. For example, let us take the example of phones and phones cases. For example, let me take the example of Samsung. If the price of Samsung phone is rising, then people are not taking Samsung phones anymore because it costs them too much. So the phone case of the Samsung, its demand will also decline. It is complement, though both are using together. We can put the Samsung phone in Samsung phone case only. Okay, so we can say that if the price of phone rises, the demand of phone case will fall. This is negatively related. We can say that substitution effect is positive in the case of relative goods and negative in the case of complements. Here you should add substitutes. It should be positive in the case of substitutes and it is negative in the case of complements. Next, price effect. It is very simple. It is not in comparison to any other thing but the commodity itself. For example, initially the price of a chocolate was rupees 10. So its demand was much high. All people were preferring to consume this. After some days, its price rise up to 20. Now what happened? Its demand falls relative to previous demand. So we can say that fall in demand or quantity demanded is the result of change in the price of that particular chocolate. So it's known as price effect. Change in quantity demanded of a commodity due to change in its own price while other things remaining constant. Means income of the consumer remains constant, taste and preference remains constant, price of substitutes remains constant, rest of the things remains constant, only the price of that particular chocolate move up. As a result, its demand decline, its quantity demanded falls. It is known as price effect. Next is cross price effect. If you understood the concept of substitution, then you may understand it's better. But if you are not able to understand this properly, so you must pause the video and turn back, understand that concept clearly, after move to this concept. Okay, cross price effect refers to change in the price of a commodity. Change in the price of commodity on the demand of its related good. Means there was a commodity, its price changes, commodity X price changes. Now what will be the result of this price change on its related goods? That can be a substitute also or complement also. Let's we consider substitute first. For example, X and Y both are substitutes. X and Y both are substitute. If the price of X changes, means rises, what will be the effect on its substitute? Its demand will fall. Rise. Its demand will rise because both are substitutes and can be used in the place of each other. When price of X will rise, then demand of Y will rise in the case of substitutes. But when we consider the complements, let X and Y be the complements. Now if the price of X rises, then demand of Y too will fall because both of them can be used together. This is cross price effect.